Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Good Bit Podcast. Welcome in, come in, make yourself nice and comfy. It's time for another wonderful episode of everybody's favourite podcast. Said no one ever. This is the Good Bit, ladies and gents. Thanks so much for joining us wherever you are around the world. It really means the world to us. And we are here today for another very special episode. I have once again become a travelling host. I have travelled through to the capital today. I am through in Edinburgh and about to chat to the amazing and stunning and hilarious Madeleine McGirk. We're going to talk about Birds of Prey, the new Harley Quinn movie, but we've left our Harley Quinn chat until the end of the episode. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't worry, you can still enjoy the episode. But it's fine, we still talk about it in great detail because it is a film that we both had quite interesting and controversial views on. So we thought it'd be good to spend some time talking about Birds of Prey. So make sure you stay tuned for that if you've seen the film and you also have interesting and controversial opinions of that film. Share them with us at the end of this episode. But also, we talk about Madeleine getting into acting, getting into theatre, getting into film, that sort of thing. We talk about holidays in Switzerland. We talk about misconceptions of Scottish people by people who are not from here because, of course, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm Scottish. And so is Madeleine. We're going to chat about that. As well as just a general chit-chat, a nice, calm, chilled sort of chat about movies and cinema and that sort of thing today here on the Good Bit Podcast. So thanks again for joining us. And of course, if you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to support in any way you can, then here's some ways you can do it. You can follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at The Good Bit Pod. You can check out lots of video exclusives on YouTube. Our YouTube home is CM42TV with music reactions, movie trailer reactions, movie reviews, video podcasts, wrestling chat, all that good stuff on the YouTube channel. And I've actually talked about this on the YouTube channel, but not here on the podcast yet. We have also started a Patreon for not only YouTube, but also here on The Good Bit to help, cover production costs, to stop people like myself and Madeleine from losing money, to travel out to go and do the podcast. We love doing it, but, it's always nice to try and cover some of those costs. So you can do that on Patreon. You can get some exclusive videos, some exclusive podcasts, all of the reactions on the YouTube channel, completely unedited and uncut and all that good stuff. Loads of cool things on Patreon. That's patreon.com/CM42TV. Link will be wherever you listen to this, whether it be in a description box or an info page or something. There will be a link to our Patreon in there. Patreon.com/CM42TV. And of course, listen, if you just want to support us by telling a pal about this episode and about this podcast, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Lots of fun things in the works, and when I say fun, I mean really fun stuff in the works and talks to be done here on The Good Bit, so stay tuned. It's going to be a very exciting year. But let's stop all this nonsense, let's stop all this shameless self-promoting from me, Chris Moffat, the host of The Good Bit Podcast. And let's get on with the episode today. I am joined today by the one and only Madeleine McGirk, right here on The Good Bit Podcast. Okay, we're back. We're here to chat about one of the most talked about films just now. One of the ones that everyone's kind of... Oh, you got up on here? You got up on the...
I literally googled it before you came to see it.
I was like, it looks like a very professional website you've got on the computer here.
No. I was seeing if there's any backing up of my opinion to try.
Oh really? So you've got different opinions?
I think so, but everyone else doesn't seem to agree, and I'm worried that I've just misread the whole thing.
You stick with whatever you believe in. That's the way to do it.
We'll get into it.
We're sitting here. I'm with Madeleine McGirk. We're here in a beautiful studio. All the fancy lights are here. All this fancy studio-like things are here. I've travelled. Beautiful faces. They were surrounded. It's tightly an audience. That's not really. That's a terrible joke. And we're here to talk about Birds of Prey. I didn't realise that Birds of Prey was not the title.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I read something that they had added the bit about Harley Quinn after because it wasn't doing well.
Oh really?
So they wanted to push the fact that Harley Quinn is in it.
Even though she's on the poster and all the trailers and it's Margot Robbie's film.
Yeah, very much so. And so apparently that's been some kind of box office ploy to make sure people understand.
Isn't that funny how those things happen though? People just they just panic and they're just we need to come up with something else.
Yeah, and I feel like I've seen it advertised everywhere.
Exactly.
So it's how could you not
know?
Right.
Yeah.
In case anyone thought it was a nature documentary.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like Suicide Squad as well, because everybody saw Suicide Squad, whether they liked it or not.
Right.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah.
So everybody knows that she's now playing Harley Quinn, whatever.
Yeah.
And before we talk about the film and that sort of thing, I think she's amazing. I do like Margot Robbie a lot.
Yeah.
Total crush. but also just like she's just awesome. She's stunning.
Yeah.
She's so good.
Yeah.
So when she plays a role like this, it's like she either has to get it right or she doesn't, and she always gets it right because this is like her baby, isn't it? Like it's her bread and butter, and everybody loves her because of this.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't realised she produced it as well.
Right, I think this is like a new thing. Like she went, could I maybe produce it as well? And we're like, yeah, sure.
I was surprised by that because even when I was watching the film, I was like, this feels like men trying to make a women's film. And then when I saw the credits, and I was like, oh no, this was made by women.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, okay, well that scunners everything I was thinking I thought about this.
Because it's a female director as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And yeah, it was. I don't know. I can't get into what I think about it, but I agree that I like Margot Robbie. Yeah,
we'll come back to it. We'll chat about the film in a bit, but I want to talk about you because you've just come back from this big fancy holiday that you didn't say was a holiday because you had to get up early in the morning.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was on holiday. I was skiing in Switzerland.
Okay. So there was so much there. So holiday to me is like, okay, we're going to go to Disney or we're going to go and sunbathe for a bit. You were skiing in Switzerland.
I was skiing in Switzerland. I cannot handle sitting by a pool.
Yeah, me neither.
Can't deal with it. And so all of my holidays are always to like weird cities or somewhere there's an activity that I want to do. And skiing for me is that one. And my granddad, who is 92, is still skiing.
You're joking, really?
No, he's still skiing. I mean, I wish he wouldn't.
Yeah, of course.
Because my heart is in my throat the whole time. But he was there. He had been with my mum the week before.
Right.
Me and my partner went out for the second week so that we could like bring him home because he can't do that track. He thinks he can do the journey on his own. He
have to go and bring him home.
Yeah, just
so
like
cute.
steer him through security. But it was lovely. It was super snowy and sunny and gorgeous. Yeah.
So when did you leave here?
I was away on the 3rd until the 10th.
That's that's unheard of for me in terms of like going on holiday at that time of year.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Well, that's it. It's one of the only ones you can do in the winter.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It still works. Unless you go like crazy far Australia. Yeah. So it was great. And it means I just got back 2 days ago.
Yeah. And so you're still jet lagged.
The 1 hour time.
You've travelled all the way from Switzerland to here.
Yeah.
Thank you for bracing the storm as well, by the way.
Oh my god, the weather is snowier here than it was there.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Storm Kira?
Something
like
that.
It's what begins with the C, so I don't know. That's very exciting. Cool. So how long have you been skiing? Has it been like a whole life thing? Or is it just recently?
I learned when I was 2.
Right, so that's
my whole life. I don't remember learning, which I think is key because my partner this was his first skiing holiday and he had done I think lessons when he was like 10, but he was terrified the whole time. He was like, if I fall, like you're just strapping things to your feet and then speeding down a mountain. And I think as an adult I'd be too scared to do it. So I'm glad I learned when I did because now it's like riding a bike.
See, that's great. Yeah. I'd love to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been skiing or whatever, but I feel like it's like an activity that you can say that you do.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a family one. So because I always went with my mum and my brother and sister, you can like everyone can do it together, but it's not like you each have to do it like holding hands in a line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a day out, but you don't have to stick together with it. That's
exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
And there's a huge amount of cheese-based foods that surround skiing also, which is great.
So you're a cheese gal.
Cheese fondue, raclette, all of it. It was just cheese and salami for like a week.
A cheese enthusiast.
Really good. Yeah, basically.
I went to Perth to do a podcast recently, and there's just like my mate that picked me up was like, just going to stop in at the cheese shop. There's like a shop.
Yeah.
That's right there. And I think there's one in Glasgow as well, the West End as well. I didn't know there was it. How can you get a shop for the one thing?
I know. I grew up in Perth. Do you know?
No, I don't know that.
I lived there till I was 14 and then I moved to Fife. But yeah.
See, I thought you were just Fife.
No. First 14 years were Perth and the cheese shop.
Oh, so you had all the cheese shops?
Right.
I'm sitting there telling you as if you didn't know. Wait till I tell you about Perth. Loads of cheese shops. That's cool.
Maybe that's where it started.
No, but honestly, when you're saying about like sun holidays and sunbathing holidays, that sort of thing, it's just not my thing.
No.
Like I can totally do it for 4 to 5 days max.
I agree.
I get that it's totally relaxing. You can go and sit by the pool and you can listen to music and stuff like that. Have nice food and that. But honestly, after a while, I get so bored and restless and I just burn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to go and do something.
Yeah, my parents took me when I was a teenager to Egypt on a package holiday.
Wow.
And I was so excited. I was like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I read all these books about like Egyptologists and stuff and I was super into wanting to see the pyramids and I remember being like, this is going to be amazing. And it was like a resort. And we did not leave that resort for 2 weeks. And it was like, I mean, a lovely resort, like the zero complaints.
Yeah.
But like, then I was like, but this could be anywhere. This could be Spain, this could be Portugal, Turkey. And I was like, are we going to see the pyramids? Are we going to do anything? And they were like, no, I think today we'll just have like a pool day. And I was like, why did we fly all this way? Like,
you think that's fine if you go to Tenerife or something like that, yeah, but maybe
fair
not.
Enough, but like, we've come to like the epicenter of ancient culture.
Yeah,
we're just gonna like have a margarita.
Yeah.
Like, I love a margarita, but that's not why you come
I would
to
have been
Egypt.
raging, yeah. I feel like I want to see things like that though. I haven't seen enough culture and things like that where you can go and like say I've been to this particular landmark. Yeah. Like I've been to New York, that's been the biggest one for me, and I'm going there in the summertime. Yeah. Again, it's going to be amazing. But like,
me too. When are you going?
For July 4th of July.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm going the end of July, I think.
I'm going like the 1st of July till the 8th or something. But I went at Christmas time in 2017 and it was the most amazing thing ever. But just to say that I'd been to the Rockefeller Centre, I'd been to the wherever, you know, Times Square and all that stuff. It was just like, just getting to say that. It's like watching movies for me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a movie guy over a TV guy.
Yeah.
Because I like to say that I've done it and I've seen it and I can talk about it. But like a TV show, you have to watch all the episodes and all the seasons and stuff. Whereas if you go to somewhere like a big fancy landmark place, you can say you've been, you can talk about it and stuff like that. So when at Christmas time, that brings me on to how was your Christmas?
So lovely.
Because last time I saw you was like a week before Christmas and we were so excited.
It was fantastic. My sister has a 2-year-old.
Wow, okay.
And that is the only child in our family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you told me that, yeah.
We are all like gushing over this fact that
everybody's just staring at her.
Yeah, like could not have more attention on Christmas if they tried. Just like 10 adults all like wanting to play with him. And so we went, she's in Linlithgow, and we got a hotel there for a couple of days. And because neither of us drive, so it was like, you have to stay where you're going to be because there's no public transport.
I see, okay.
So we were like, right, we'll do the hotel, it's round the corner from them, we'll just go around, play with my nephew, eat, drink, and repeat the next day.
Yeah. Exactly that was the same thing. Yeah. See, that's so cool, and it's like relaxing, and it becomes when you can like remember and kind of look back at it and stuff. Yeah, I've got my little cousin is just about to turn 4, so he's in that sort of like crazy running around. It was so excited at Christmas time. Like I filmed him when he was opening his presents, and it's like he just wanted to open them. Didn't care what was in them. Like we got him jammies and stuff, and he doesn't care about jammies. He just wanted to like open the thing.
Yeah.
So he's like throwing them around and stuff. We got him Batman slippers that he loved. And then we got him a gun thing, which we shouldn't have done, and because we all paid for it later. And then like a mat for cars to play, but it didn't come with any cars, so we just got him the mat. So he was like,
you can use your imagination.
So he's looking about holding the mat, going, "Why did you get me this?
Why have you done this?"
A 4-year-old or a 3.5-year-old that doesn't understand toys sold separately.
Yeah, well, that was part. I don't think Jamie, my wee nephew, fully understood what Christmas was, because this is his first one being able to sort of comprehend that presents are a thing. Yeah. So my sister said like they had brought him a stocking and he didn't know what it was, so he had just gone okay and walked past it because he didn't understand it was full of presents. So I think next year will be the one where he's like that, and he's like
just crazy for it. That's good though. I mean, obviously it's a pain at the time, but like when you're watching them, you're just like, it's the best. It's never going to be like this again.
Yes,
you know, until you have a child of your own.
Yeah, I did what you did. I got him a present for him and a present for me. The present for him was like a toy thing, and the present for me was a little outfit that he was going to wear that day, cute, a little bow tie and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, he doesn't have a clue, but I'm loving
You're like, I'm going to get so many pictures like that.
Exactly. Yeah. This is going to be a screensaver.
That's cool. Yeah, but at Christmas time, my routine, we did the same thing all the time. And this year, we watched Home Alone on the 23rd, Home Alone 2 on the 24th, and Elf after it. Yep. It was the best. And then this year, I think I did well in terms of watching films again. But there's always like more I want to watch.
I have a great one to recommend.
Go for it.
We Are No Angels.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
No.
Excellent. Okay.
So I'll write it down, but it's Christmas.
It's Christmas film, but it's like super old. It's Humphrey Bogart.
Okay, okay.
And two other really famous actors who I can't remember the name of, and people who listen will like scream them. But it's like 3 convicts who've escaped from jail, which is on a sort of remote island, and they've come to the mainland, and they decide they're gonna try and find a way to get on this ferry that'll take them to freedom. Mm-hmm. So then they like find a job doing odd jobs with a family, and it's Christmas time. Right. And they like, this isn't a spoiler, but they end up liking the family pretty early on. Okay. And deciding that they're going to use these sort of criminal talents they have to help this family that are sort of honest to a fault. Okay. And then it all unfolds in a crazy way. but it's super lovely and funny and Christmassy.
See, that's all you need, isn't it? Like, just something lovely and kind of like cheery for Christmas time.
Yeah, it was great. That and White Christmas. That's my Christmas Eve.
White Christmas is a classic, yeah. Did you see the Christmas Chronicles?
No.
It was like, they came out 2 years ago, I think it was like a Netflix exclusive sort of thing, and it was Kurt Russell who'd done it, and he played Santa, I'm sure.
Okay.
And I remember thinking it was great, but I didn't watch it this year again, but like at the time, you find a new Christmas film, you're like, yes, there's one you can watch every year.
Because it's so rare, you think you've seen all the good ones, and all the new ones are like Netflixy.
Yeah, I feel like all the new ones just don't have that sort of magic, and they don't have that classic sort of aspect to them.
And they're all very skewed towards royalty, which I get. Every single one seems to be an American falling in love with a prince. Like, why is this Christmas?
And they're all just Netflix, or they're all just Amazon, and they're all just whatever.
And I haven't watched them, to be fair, so maybe I'm being really unfair. But from the previews, it looks very one note.
But even that though, like, when I watch the previews and the trailers, it's not like that's going to be a new classic Christmas film I need to watch. If I see a trailer or something that is a classic Christmas film, they still make me want to watch them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just, listen to us talking about, back in my day. Back in my day, Home Alone 2 had been like 15 years old or something.
I know. Well, Love Actually, that's my lifetime, I think.
Yeah, 2003 it came out.
Okay, so I was a child, but it was my lifetime. And I think that's the last one I can remember being like, this is great.
This is the one, yeah.
Polar Express, was that after that?
2004.
Oh God, look at you. You're
I
like
know.
an
No, I know.
encyclopedia.
That's on the podcast exclusive here.
Yeah, I know. God, you've done your homework.
It's a weird, I know, it's just a weird thing I can do. I just remember the dates of films. I can't tell you anything interesting.
Right,
that's
impressive.
I can tell you dates. Polar Express is like always my favourite.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But we never got to watch it this year, but I did watch Love Actually again for the second time.
That's always one of the first ones I watch.
Yeah.
It seems to be on ITV2 on loop for
ages. Yeah, and it's always like gets you into it because although it's very Christmassy, there's parts of it that are just normal.
Yeah.
And so I'd watched it before and I'd loved it before. And I said, okay, this is now a new, Christmas routine for me. I love Liam Neeson. I love Emma Thompson. I love all these people who are in it. But then, and I knew it was like lots of famous folk and lots of like big names and stuff. But when I rewatched it this time, I was like really noticing like that's so and so from this film and that's so. And then the couple who do like they're doing like the porn scene. It's Martin.
Martin Freeman
and Stacey.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, what?
I know.
I was like, Stacey's in this film.
Well, that's how she got cast to Gavin and Stacey.
Is it really?
Yeah, they were
I didn't know that.
the Welsh one from Love Actually. Let's get.
She's so funny and she's so cute, and it's like, and even Martin Freeman's so funny as well.
Oh my God.
And they're like my favourite part.
I know.
But it's one of those ones that makes like I can't watch this Christmas film with my family because
totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'll catch up on you.
It's just awkward,
I know.
But it's honestly that film is great, and I feel like I say this all the time, and the listeners who listen all the time are going to be he's repeating himself again. But I say it all the time. When I rewatch movies, that's when you know you like them or whatever. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? You can watch a film for the first time and be like, hello, it's Greg. You can watch a film for the first time and think it's great or whatever, and then when you watch it a second time, you're not caught up in like I need to listen to the story and see who's you can just enjoy it for what it is. And I think you get more out of it. I think.
I agree. I have like a library. My stepmom is so confused by it because she will only watch a film once and she'll consider herself having seen it once she's watched it.
Yeah, I think my mum's the same.
Whereas mine is like a library of just repeated films.
Yeah.
And like very rarely do I see actually new films. I just repeat the old ones and they're like a warm hug and you just get that feeling of like, oh, this is so comforting.
I love rewatching films. I mean, you have to kind of watch them at first, obviously, to kind of see them.
See if you
and then get a chance to rewatch them down the line. But there's so many I've watched and thought were brilliant and just haven't gone back to.
Yeah.
Like Joker, for example, that came out in October, November or something, and I was like, I can't wait to rewatch that. And I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then the buzz of the Oscars and that sort of thing. Now I really want to watch it again. Yeah. But that's a more recent example. But like things that came out ages ago, and it's just like that's now.
There are so many films that have come out in this last like 18 months, which for me work-wise has been like 60 weeks. So I've had zero time.
No time.
And now I've built up a library of films that I'm like desperate to see.
Yeah.
And one of them is the Ruth Bader Ginsburg biopic on the basis of sex, I think it's called.
I didn't see it. No.
I am desperate. She's like my hero. And
I see. Okay.
really want to see this film. and I've seen so many great things about it on Facebook, but I have to scroll past them every time.
You can't see them?
Yeah, I mean, spoiler, I know what happens to her, but like, I would love to just see that. That's on my list of things I haven't seen and need to.
Can you like remember like the first film you ever saw, or like early cinema memories?
All of my early cinema memories, other than like Disney, are old musicals.
Right, yeah.
Calamity Jane and those kind of like 50s Doris Day films are my early film memory, because that was my gran loved those, my mum loved those,
right? And
so I don't think that was like, please let's not watch The Jungle Book again, can I put on like My Fair Lady or Calamity Jane or one of those. What about you? What's yours?
Oh man, I can't tell you like the first film I saw. I can tell you the first one I saw in the cinema, and it was Monsters Inc.
Oh my god!
Which was 2001, and it was like at the time, obviously, what is a cinema?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now, I would if Monsters Inc. was to come on the cinema now, I would be all over that. I need to see it.
I think my earliest cinema memory might be Space Jam.
What a classic to start with, though.
I don't remember it at all, but I remember that like my gran taking us to see it. I don't even know what year that would have been. And I remember Mulan. I saw Mulan at the cinema.
Okay. Did you see the trailer for the new one?
Yes.
They're remaking it. It looks really good.
I agree, but then have they not done something weird with like not including the love interest?
I don't know.
I think they've done. I might be totally wrong, but I feel like they've taken out the love interest, which maybe is because, in my like cynical opinion, would be because it's like super LGBT.
Okay.
And so I'm like, have they just removed that element? Like, because that's not okay.
That's going to change the film.
Yeah, because he falls in love with her as a man, and then it turns out she's a woman.
Yeah,
and I'm like, have they just removed that to not deal with?
So where's the story going to be?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't just
change
take
the
out
history of the
huge
film.
Parts of it. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think it looks great, but it's one of those ones where I don't even remember Mulan that much. I must have seen it when I was like really young, but it's never like I felt as if I had my set films that I watched. It was always Spider-Man, or it was Scooby-Doo, or whatever, Garfield and things like that. Like I had my set ones to watch, and then if there was other ones, I just wouldn't go back to. You know, so I don't know. And I just feel like they're remaking so much. I don't mind it if it's like The Lion King. I didn't mind at all.
I haven't watched hardly any of the live remakes because I'm like, why? Why mess with perfection?
Exactly. Lion King's the original Lion King is a perfect film.
Excellent film.
Right? And even the original Jungle Book, it is slow at times, but you can't change that.
I love it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought the remake was great.
Yeah. I should declare an interest here. I did a degree in film studies, and I did my dissertation on Disney.
Well, okay,
so I am like, I love Disney.
You need to tell me now. I need you to give me at the top of your head top 5 Disney films.
Well, I did my main dissertation focus was on The Parent Trap, the original and the remake.
right. Okay.
So this is the level we're dealing with.
Cinderella and all that.
I mean, they played a part.
Yeah.
But mostly it was just on. When I was studying in the States, I did a whole module on Disney, and that was like a course that I took. And so for me, those original films are like academic studies. Like, I love them. And like, okay, they're very problematic, and I accept that with it.
But I don't think you can look at it that way though, because they have that sort of nostalgia feel to you.
Yeah, and I'm like, even with all of the like very questionable moral slants and stuff, you're like, why remake it with a live action? It's never going to be as good. It's never going to be as popular. So like, why try and make it that? Yeah,
totally. And it's one of those ones where you think that they're going to try and remake it just because they have to.
Yeah.
Like they remade Dumbo. Yeah. And it was alright, but it wasn't even that.
Dumbo makes me too sad.
Dumbo's like one of those ones you show your baby, you know what I mean? You sit and watch it with your child when they're really, really young. It's probably going to do really well when it's now going to be like a new age classic, but I don't know. I
think that's the thing. I'm like, all the wee kids now are going to be like, oh, the Disney Dumbo or whatever, and they're going to think of the live action one, and you're just like, can we not just agree that they did it right the first time and that remaking it is not essential? No, that's it. I just don't know. I don't know why you mess with it. Why remake it? What was bad about it the first time that needs rectified? Because they aren't changing the stories to make them less problematic, which would be the only reason to remake them. So you're like, what?
Yeah, I know. It's really interesting. It's like a money thing, and it's like a buzz thing, and
guaranteed
that sort of thing.
Success,
but yeah, exactly. Everyone's going to see it, and that's why they make sequels like Toy Story 4. Toy Story 1, 2 and 3 is the perfect trilogy.
I know.
You didn't need the fourth one, but the fourth one came out and it was great.
I haven't watched it because I'm too scared I'll hate it.
No, it's great. It's really good. It's literally just another Toy Story film.
Okay.
It won the Oscar for the best animated picture, rightfully so.
Okay.
But why add another one to a perfect trilogy?
I know.
It's now no longer a perfect trilogy.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
true.
So
I always get nervous. They're gonna do something awful. It's like a twist, and then I'm gonna like get really sad that they've ruined it.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Pocahontas 2?
No.
Oh God.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was the worst thing of all time. And I love Pocahontas. And then it's like the sequel is like trying to be historically accurate.
Right.
And obviously like she got taken to England and then like married to some rich guy that's not John Smith.
Okay.
And then was like used as an example of like what can be done with Indigenous people. Really problematic. And then they tried to make that a Disney film.
And you're thinking,
and you're
right?
Like, oh, this is just not.
Yeah.
Even for Disney, this is just horrific.
Sometimes they make ones you're just like they're changing things for the sake of it, like Home Alone 3. For example, they changed the wee boy, and obviously, what a horrible family to leave their son twice. They couldn't do it for a third time. Don't make the third film. You know what I mean? And have all these. I mean, I'm sure the third one. I've only watched it like very little amounts of times when I was younger. I literally haven't watched it. I'd say about 15 years.
Yeah.
But I just know that I'll watch it again and go, why was this even done?
Yeah, I think I remember it sort of. And it's like the same as the first one. Like it's fine, it's sweet, but it's not Home Alone anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
call it something else. I don't mind. Yeah.
Like, oops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Left
I shouldn't have had
home,
children.
when we left for holiday. There you go. There you go. New film.
Totally.
There you go. Probably not. So, and you also said you studied in the States.
Yes, I did. I did my acting and film as well. I did a.
Oh, you're an actor. Oh my god.
I don't know if that's come up. I did what they call over there a double major. It was basically a year abroad.
So American, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is double major.
Yeah. Here it's joint honours. There it's a double major.
Right.
And so I did my acting alongside my film studies. And that was my thing. I did it in Illinois because they have an amazing theatre program.
Chicago or
just outside.
Okay.
And it was great. I had the full on experience of American university.
Wow,
I joined a sorority.
Of course you did.
I lived in the sorority house with my sisters.
Is it as like mental as like bad neighbours?
Yes. The frats are. The sororities don't get to be because of. I feel like the word problematic is like coming up so much already.
No.
I had a great time because I took it for what it was.
Okay.
But like we had a house mother, which is a woman who I guess is retired and lives in the house and looks after you if you need anything.
Okay, that's quite cool.
It is, except for you're also not allowed alcohol in the house. You're not allowed parties in the house. You're not allowed boys upstairs.
Right.
The frat houses do not have such a thing.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, you've never heard that in a frat house.
Sometimes they have like a house dad who's like a 22-year-old that just hasn't left yet.
I feel like that's like an insult here. A house dad.
Yeah, exactly. And like they're allowed alcohol, they're allowed parties, they're allowed girls to stay, they're allowed whatever. So the boys can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And the girls have these prim and proper rules that you have to adhere to. And if you don't, you can get kicked out the house. Whereas the boys, it's like the more outrageous, the better.
Oh yeah, like it's like a lad thing.
Yeah. So I made some great friends. I was one of their bridesmaids a couple of years ago.
Oh, that's cute.
We do a year about them coming to me and me going to them.
That's right, yeah.
So we have stayed close. It does create those bonds, but I don't think I could have been in one for 4 years because the feminist in me would have
just gone,
tried
totally.
to smash the system. But for a year of this is fun and cool.
Yeah.
Fine.
Cool. I mean, the idea of going and studying over there is like a great idea to me.
Yeah.
But obviously you've been there and done that, so you now have the opposite kind
I
of
would
opinion.
recommend it to anyone.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I had the best time.
And you learned so much.
And it was there. Everyone there was like American, and so I was one of the only foreign students. And so everyone was just fascinated. And to begin with, you're like, oh my god, I'm getting so much attention. This is amazing. And then by the end, you're like, I'm just trying to buy a sandwich in the shop.
Exactly.
I don't need to know that your grandfather was also Scottish.
Where are you from? You're 1/5 Scotch.
Yeah, let's assume I don't know your granddad.
Yeah, exactly. All Scottish people know each other.
Yeah, I don't know Jim. There are a few of them. I don't know.
There's loads of Jims. That's right.
We aren't related. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But then again, on the other side of that, if I meet someone who is from Chicago, I'm always like, what point? So Michael Allen, who we work with, is from where is he? He's from Pennsylvania. And I was like, so what? Philadelphia, Pittsburgh? And he's like, just outside. Like he's obviously had that all his life, you know. And I was like, I felt bad, but I'd never met anybody from Pennsylvania before, so I had to ask.
I know. Well, I was equally as fascinated in the beginning, so it was like a great exchange where they'd be like, wait, so what's food like in Scotland? And I'd be like, I love your accent. You sound like Legally Blonde. And then it's like, that was it. But then it does wear thin after a while, just being the foreign one all the time.
You get like the stereotypes that you think, like, so Americans just think, not all Americans, so I don't want to offend anybody, but you get some Americans that will just think, like, we're just always eating haggis and we're always playing the bagpipes and we're always wearing kilts, right? Which obviously it's a misconception. However, I was at a live podcast recording thing on Sunday from an old wrestling commentator called JR, and he was doing this thing at the Classic Grand in Glasgow, and we were there, and he came out and he had like a sort of tartan scarf on because he was in Scotland. That's what he has to do.
Yeah.
And he's from Oklahoma, and he sat down and he goes, "What the hell is haggis?" And I was like, you're actually in the country, and the first thing you say to a Scottish audience is something about haggis. I don't stereotype it at all.
Well, even that is often more awareness of a Scottish culture than I encountered. Because obviously I was at a university with people who hadn't really travelled outside the country, a lot of them, or certainly had not met a foreign person. And so the frat parties, I would have my sisters and I would have a game as to the sorority sisters.
Nice.
We'd have a game about where can you make Americans believe Scotland is. And so, I had France. One of them thought it was in France. Well, I mean, I was telling them this wasn't like their idea, but they'd be like, "Oh, Scotland," and I'd be like, "Yeah," and they'd be like, "What's Scotland like?" I'm like, "Well, obviously, it's like in France, and so a lot of French speaking," and then they're like, "Sure, that's crazy. I think France is such a beautiful country." Like, they would just go on and on and on. And I had, I think, Africa.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, there is just, people don't know where Scotland is. Most think it's in England. Yeah. But that is fair enough. It's hard to decipher the different countries of the UK if you're not from here.
Totally.
But
Africa.
Yeah, someone asked me if we had music in Scotland.
Oh,
and I was like...
You're like, no.
No, we just sit in silence in our caves. Like, that's all we do. It's just...
music. Do you have shops or whatever?
Yeah. There was a lot of fun to be had with the frat boys and their lack of an understanding of Scotland.
Fair. But shout out to any of those frat boys or sorority sisters out there listening. We've got a big audience over on the States.
I apologise if I once told you I lived in France.
Oh my god, that's her?
Yeah, oh my god, this whole time.
I've been saying bonjour.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, you're an actress.
Yes.
Obviously, I don't want to talk about your work and all that forever, but just tell me like how you got started, tell me why you got into it, anything like that.
I have always done acting as long as I can remember. I think the first actual move towards it being more than just like a 5-year-old being like, I want to be Doris Day, was my mum came home and told me about the Scottish Youth Theatre. And then I was like, I had already done youth theatre in Perth and stuff, and I'd done like being the kid in the Amdram stuff.
Totally,
when they needed a young person. And so she told me about this 2-week course in the summer that you could go and do at the Scottish Youth Theatre. And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. That's so cool. And I was in P7 and I had to go and audition. And I think you had to be at least 12, and I was going to be 12 like the week before it started or something.
So you're like right at the cut-off.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the audition. I'm going to do it. And then I remember I did the audition. It was in, was it Glasgow? Anyway, and then I got in and I was like, thinking I was like
big
insane.
Deal. Yeah.
And then I went and did this 2-week course and it was the best experience.
Really?
I did that summer, and then I did it again the following summer. And then when I was 15, I did the 5-week course again in Glasgow, and you live in the halls of residence, you go to the studio every day and rehearse.
Wow. And this is all paid for and stuff?
No, you pay for it, but we did like we did car washes and stuff. And I think it's quite subsidised, so it's nothing like what you would have to pay.
Yeah.
And then so I did that, and then the 5-week course was like game changing. It was what's his name? He runs Youth Theatre Scotland now, Youth Theatre Arts Scotland, Kenny, and he was my director for the 5-week course. and it was amazing. And so you have this taste of go to the studio every day, do your warm up in the morning, you do rehearsals all day, voice movement, and then put on a show at the end.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then you go home to halls with all the other teenagers you're living with, and you feel like you're like a city life person. And it was great.
It's a good experience for like a 14, 15-year-old, isn't it?
It was amazing. And then I moved school like that summer to a school that taught drama as a subject, which I hadn't been at before.
Yeah.
And that was me.
That was me too. Yeah. I always had drama in school, but like it wasn't until I chose it and I was doing it as a hire.
Yeah.
That's kind of like when I fell in love with it. Yeah. It has to be like that sort of switch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you can do it for ages, but until you actually focus on it, then it becomes this one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I had my first. I did a job as an extra when I was at university. And I was like an extra in River City one day when I was maybe like 19, and I was like, oh my god, it was my first paid acting job.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. What was your first job?
Yeah, that would. I don't know if like walk-on roles count. I mean, it depends who you're at.
I think so. Yeah, because you experienced the whole day and stuff. Yeah,
I had a pass that said BBC on it, and it had my name.
And did you get paid for it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, right. So I think that's what I consider my first paid acting job, and I stood in the background while people did things, and I was like a customer at the pub.
Nice.
I wore a really distinctive jumper so that I could look back
so
and see
yourself.
if I was in it. I was in it for maybe 2 seconds.
Right, okay.
While people actually acted in the foreground. But that was my first paid job.
I had a similar experience. There was a TV show on CITV called Am I High?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was an extra on that. That was my first job,
that's
right?
big time.
And I was still in school at the time, so I was a student in the cafeteria of this school in the show, and I was eating my lunch in the background, right? But of course, as you know, like when they film TV shows and stuff, like they film it months in advance, and you never know when you're going to see it again. And you need to pick out the episode, and they give you no information because it's all kind of on lockdown.
Yeah.
So it was the whole day I was there. I was with like my drama teachers in school and that sort of thing, which was great. I felt safe and stuff. It's not as if I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
Which I'd later go into when I was actually an actor. But when I'm doing that, I was fine. Like it was a lot of fun. I'm sitting there and like they gave us frozen peas, frozen chips, and uncooked beans.
Stop.
On the plate, and she had the kid on to eat it, and a jug of water.
Why did they not just give you actual food?
I don't know. Maybe they just. I don't know.
Didn't have anywhere to cook it.
So I just wasn't eating. I was kidding on to eat it, but obviously I wasn't. But I kept like pouring the water because I was like, I'm going to do something to try and see myself. So I was like getting the jug of water, and I was like doing it for a second. So because it took ages to air, when I filmed the episode, like, I had my hair really long, right? When I was younger, I had my hair. It was so straight, but like, it was like down. It was the worst. It was like midlife crisis. But just I was in school, I don't know. But since then, it was like, say it was like 9 months later, I'd had like a proper haircut. Like my hair was all gone and stuff. Not gone, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So I was like, this is it. This is the time the episode is on. So I was sitting down with my mum and my dad and my sister, and we're getting ready to watch this episode. I was literally in the show for maybe 3 seconds. Aww. Me doing the whole pouring the water, but you couldn't see me because my hair was all in my face and stuff. And it was just a disaster. But it was one of those ones where I was like pausing it and like screen grabbing it and stuff. That was my first one.
Yeah. That was It's such a good feeling when you're like, oh my god, a paid job.
Yeah.
Even when it's
so
like,
fun.
Yeah. Totally.
So, that's cool. What about any like? Obviously, if you can't talk about it, then cool. But have you got any like audition stories that are funny? Any nightmares from auditions?
I've been quite lucky with auditions in
general. Me too.
I think most of them have been fine. There were a couple in the States where I was like, this is too much for me. But then also, I'm not really one for like massive experimental pieces.
Okay.
I much prefer like a drama or like a naturalistic comedy, and so it's rare that I go up for something that's really out there. But in the States, I was just figuring it out, seeing what I liked.
You're like, why not?
No one knew me. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
And I went along to one that the drama group was putting on, and they like asked us to be trees.
Of course they did.
And I was like, what?
That's classic.
What is this? And then I'm just like, I don't know what it feels like to be a tree, so I was just sort of standing there waiting to see what everyone else did. And then they are just so like gung-ho, and they all start like doing their best tree. Yeah. And they are like feeling it, they are moving in the wind, they are like growing from a seed. It's like a whole tree's journey. And I was just like,
growing from a seed?
Yeah, one of them was like having the full like evolution of a tree.
Wow.
And I was just, and this was in seconds they decided to do this, and I was like, man, this is not I'm not here. And then of course that's too much of a stand to actually take in the moment. So I just sort of
swayed back and forth
like a tree until it was over, and was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. Oh, there is another one.
Oh, good, that was a good reaction.
This is a Scottish one, and it was for, oh man, can I say the name? It's nothing famous.
Yeah.
Someone had decided to put on Batman the musical.
Holy shit.
Right, yeah. So, and this was on, this was pre-Spotlight. This is when I didn't know about Spotlight yet. So it still existed, I just didn't know about it yet.
Yeah.
And I was on one of the other used sites online for finding acting jobs.
Yes.
This was also pre-having an agent while I was at university. And I went along, and it was like in south side of Glasgow, I think, which was nowhere near where I lived. So I'd gotten the train, and I'd figured it out, and I was like, okay, this was a job that came from this site, so this is going to be professional, it's going to be high end. And I got there, and someone had like torn a page out of a notebook that said like Batman the musical auditions, and then drew an arrow. And it was a church hall, and the scouts were doing something next door. And then every now and then you just heard them cheering, like playing. And then I went in, and the guy had trainers on that were Joker trainers, and he had like a satchel with Batman on it, and he was like 20. And the other person was also dressed as someone that I don't know who it was, but I guess was from that universe. And they were the audition panel.
Of course, so it's just Batman on that.
And I was just like, okay, this is not good. This is
what did you have to do for the audition?
You had to sight read a script across from someone.
Which always gets me. I'm such a bad reader.
Well, also it's just not acting, is it?
It's not at all.
Reading with a dramatic voice.
And can you look up at the same time? It's like a skill you really learn. I hate it. Yeah.
And like, I don't think there's much intention behind it other than trying to get the words right.
Exactly.
And remember to.
It's so embarrassing when you don't as well.
No, I suddenly forget how to read, and it's like a whole thing. So you had to do that, and then you had to sing. I'm not really much of a singer, but again, I was like figuring out what suits me and what doesn't. And so I did a song, and then they offered me something the next day. I think it was ensemble or something, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, something else has come up, and I can't do it anymore. But it was just that feeling of being in a room and being like, this is going to be amazing. I've got an audition. I'm an actor now. And then walking in, and it's like a church hall. You can hear the scouts.
Yeah.
There are teenagers in front of you dressed as Batman and the Joker and
the
stuff.
mask on.
Right. Being like, great, so if you could just stand over there.
You should do your song
read your name, and now you can do your song. And I was like, oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
This is bad.
That's a funny one. You mentioned Spotlight there as well. So obviously Spotlight is like the actor directory for everyone, right?
Yes.
But like to us, we just are on Spotlight because that's where we need to be. But for some reason in my head, I've always just been like, famous folk don't have Spotlight. It's when you start and then you go on.
No.
But then I was watching Graham Norton the other week, and Daniel Kaluuya was on that, who was in Queen and Slim.
Yeah.
And he told the story. He was like, someone Spotlight, and it was the first time I heard an actor or like a famous person talk about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm on Spotlight too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Everyone is on Spotlight.
Yeah,
like
so,
it is.
Like I knew that, but just not until I was on TV, and I was like, oh my god, that's so real.
Well, this is the other problem about doing your training elsewhere and then coming back.
Yeah.
Is that you don't know about Spotlight.
Okay.
And you like over there it's something called like Backstage or something, something like that. And so then I came back, everyone's on Spotlight. Everyone knows this casting director and that director.
Yeah.
And they all love to let you know that they know them.
Oh my god,
and then,
yeah.
So when I came back, I didn't know who that was. I had never heard of that person. I didn't know what Spotlight was. I hadn't gone to uni with all the people that were doing profit shares and casting each other. And so I was like, how on earth do you get started?
How do you figure this out, yeah?
You don't get a showcase. You don't get like just cast because you went to uni with whoever. So like all of that is gone. So I really had to like do a lot of uphill figuring it out while everyone else just seemed to know it. So that was a downside.
It's one of those ones where like you just want everything just to fall at your lap, but obviously you have to kind of put it in. People don't understand that, like it's so hard.
And you see everyone else being like, oh, we just formed our own rep company, or I just did a fringe show because so and so asked me, and you're like, how did you become the person that so and so thought to ask though?
For a fringe show,
yeah, because I never had. It took years to get that. But I mean, it's totally doable, but it's just that knee up.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about who you know. That's it.
Yeah,
it's all about
totally.
Who you know. We've literally spoke for 40 minutes and we haven't even spoken about the film. I did want to talk about the Oscars though. You said you didn't see them all, you kind of saw the highlights.
I just saw the highlights, I was away, and so my access to internet was sketchy.
Yeah.
But I did see a lot of opinions about Eminem.
Well, here's the thing, like everyone was either was saying, "Oh my god, it's amazing," or people were saying, "Why is he doing this at the Oscars?" And it was like a sort of they showed a video package of like great soundtracks of films.
Okay.
And at the end of that music video, they were showing 8 Mile. And instead of showing him sing it in the film, he popped up and sang it live. And I was like, that's just a good thing for the show. I didn't get why
everyone...
everyone...
It's such a tune, and it was everyone knows the words.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because I only obviously saw the fallout from it all online.
Yeah.
And everyone was suddenly like making faces or like being like, why is he here? But they did not provide the context of it. After a big thing.
That's the issue with like social media as well, isn't it? Like you just see if there's a meme like moment, like Billie Eilish is sitting in the crowd and she's like doing this face, but it's not because like someone said something stupid, like someone made a joke and she was like, what? Like, but just for some reason, like that's what people would talk about, you know?
But also, like when people are like doing a really cool, intense song, I feel like you do script your face and you move your head a little bit. You're like, you do that, you go for it.
I thought it was great. It was Eminem, he's in like his 40s, he's just got a new album.
It was a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It won him an Oscar.
Absolutely. He deserved to be there. And it was a nice wee break, I thought, from the awards.
Yeah.
Because the awards do go on. And I was saying to Madeleine before we started recording, it's like, you start this thing at the Oscars where it's like this big build up and I don't really care what the award's going to be and I don't care who the winner's going to be, but then when you watch it I get so into it, and the big awards obviously are the big awards for a reason, and it started off with like Best Supporting Actor and Brad Pitt won it, and I really liked his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was like yes, but then for the next 3 hours it's all like sound editing, and which is great, but I don't really care that much, you know. When you get to the last hour, that's when the big ones come. So it comes to 4 a.m. and you're just dead. You know what I mean? But then the big ones, Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Picture, Best Director.
What did you think of
I was happy with all the results. I didn't really have that strong of an opinion this year. Last year I did, because Green Book won Best Picture, and I loved that film, and I was like, that's the one that should win, and it did, and I was like, yes. The only one this year I was like, that has to win was Joker. For Joaquin Phoenix for Best Actor, I was like, he has to win, and he did, and that was fine. But the other ones, like I didn't see the Judy film. I saw Parasite the day of the Oscars. I just had this feeling.
I want to see it.
And I was with my mate, and I was like, let's go see it. I mean, it could win Best Picture tonight. And then Angie, who we know very well, texted me and said, I've just seen Parasite. You need to go see it.
Oh, cute.
And I went, well, that's decided for me. So I went and saw Parasite. It was like 8:30. Spur of the moment decision, and then it went and won the picture, and I was like, imagine I hadn't seen it, I would have been raging.
Got it.
But I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a great, I mean, I'd never seen a full foreign film at the cinema, like 2 hours and 10 with not one English line in the whole film, or there might be 1 or 2, but all subtitled. And I don't have an issue with that. I use subtitles a lot when I'm watching Netflix and stuff, so it's not as if it was like totally bizarre to me. But sitting there in the cinema and reading subtitles was weird. But I was able to follow the story and stuff, and I think if you can do that, then you know that's job well done. And the film's great. However, when I came out of seeing 1917, the war film, I was like stunned. I was like, wow. So I was like, that's the one I think should have won. There is no way you can compare those films.
That's what I think is tricky. It's like, what means best?
Exactly.
Like best at what?
I mean, I guess I don't like the Golden Globes, but they kind of have it a bit better because they've got best drama and best comedy and stuff. But like you put Joker, 1917, Little Women, and Parasite in the one category. How can you? It depends on mood. It depends on time of the day. It depends on who you go with.
It's so like.
It's but that's like people are judging it and comparing it to pick a winner.
I don't know how people. I mean, I'm sure they have criteria, but I don't know what that could possibly be.
It's like a committee, isn't it? They vote.
But I did like that it was the first time a foreign language film had won.
And that
guy seems crazy that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it shouldn't have taken this long, but at least it's happened. Because I hadn't realised that had been a thing. So that's. And like,
did you see the moment where they put the lights down?
And
Tom Hanks in the front row. I was like, it's so drama, isn't it? Like it's so theatre.
It's so Tom Hanks
and
as
so
well.
Hollywood.
That
was very funny, but they shouldn't do that. I hate that, man.
I know.
They have. I mean, I guess they do get a little bit extra, but like all the sort of minor awards only get like 60 seconds for their speech, but they always give like the best actor and best actress like as much time as they want. And that's like you should have be that. You know what I mean? You should have
the last one of the night, so you're like, just let them have a few minutes.
Exactly, and obviously I get it. There was so many members of the cast. It's not as if there's 18 people going to go. That's not going to happen. Just let it go.
I know.
It makes the moment a bit more special. It's like they've worked their whole life for these moments.
That's it. It comes once.
You can say whatever you want. I don't have an issue with that. You've earned that to say. And like Joaquin Phoenix's speech was crazy. It was like very like I knew he was a weird guy. I didn't realise he was a lot like the Joker character in real life.
Is he? I didn't see that speech.
Check out. It's weird. It's like he's very humble. He's thanking everybody for the award and stuff, but he's still in that kind of like mindset, you know. And I think playing a role like Joker is so difficult and so dangerous. I just
don't. I just am not one of the people who's really impressed by method. I'm just like, as someone who like in a non-acting job project manages things quite a lot, I'm like, are you telling me you believe that you are the Joker right now? Because if so, you need help. Like, I don't care how much you're acting and engulfing the role and all. Like, if you don't know somewhere inside you that you're Joaquin Phoenix, you are certifiable. You need help. And I don't know why we praise it so much. Acting is like
you're pretending to be someone.
And I guess like a little feeling the feelings is one thing, but believing that you're another human being for like 2 weeks before you start filming is weird, and it's not. I don't know why we're encouraging that so much. That's totally fair. Like that's an illness. That's not an art form.
Look at Heath Ledger. He went so mental. He died.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm like, and we were all like, oh, what a great. And you're like, yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, it's a great role.
But like, if you fully believe that you're a criminal mastermind living in Gotham,
there's got face paint and stuff. Yeah. But did you see Joker? No, did you not get a chance to see it?
No,
it's an amazing film.
Everyone I know who saw it loved it.
It's great, but it is like after you're like, geez, like, whoa.
I didn't see it because this has been the 18 months of craziness, but also because
should be a book. You should read
it. I know, just nothing happened to me this last year now. But like, I just really, I know everyone loved it, and clearly I've not seen it, so I'm speaking from ignorance. But films that really glorify people who do bad things, even if it explains why. I just have an issue with.
That's
so
fair.
I'm like,
a lot of people had an issue with that.
Yeah, like The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
like,
that's a controversial one.
Great film objectively, but like I have a real issue with the message that it sends. I mean, I was rooting for him not to get caught and all this I watch it, but that's really problematic. And like, I know that's what film's meant to do.
But you know the way that film was kind of made for, I guess, a certain mindset. So even when I was younger and I watched that film for the first time, even like 16, watching that film, I was like, this film is amazing. I love this film. Now when I watch it, 6 years later, I'm like, what? I mean, it's really quite pish, actually. when you look at the story and stuff. He is amazing. I think he's one of those people that, you know, everyone says DiCaprio is one of the best actors of our time. And people get like, oh, is he really? But he totally is.
Yeah.
And he's one of those ones that I can kind of admire. Yeah. And I thought, you know, people like The Revenant and all this stuff is great. And even in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it might actually be my favourite role he's done. But it's just like, when you look at a character like that he has become again that character. But it's not a nice character.
Well, that's it. I'm like, why are we telling the history? Like, I understand that it's entertaining and like it was, and they did an excellent job.
It's a bit mental,
But you're like, but to why? We're just glorifying a really awful guy. And it's not even like there's a huge moral at the end, because that guy is now making a lot of money as an inspirational speaker. He's suing the film studio now, I think.
Right, okay.
And all of this, and you're just like, it's not. Like, just make one good film about like Harriet Tubman.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like all these people who have amazing stories and moved the earth. And you're like, why am I watching this film about the Wall Street guy who sleeps with supermodels? I just.
Fair. That's a total fair comparison. But speaking about glorifying bad things, nice we segue into Birds of Prey that we're planning on talking about 25 minutes ago. But that's okay. Birds of Prey. Let's get the date. I mean, it's on there, but I'm going to get it on IMDb as well, because I feel like the information is all very handy. But we both saw it last night. We saw it not together. We were in totally different areas. Tell me what you thought.
I am still processing what I thought.
So it's Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
One Harley Quinn, yeah. I don't know. I was ready to hate it.
Before you went in? Okay.
But, and I never would have seen it probably if we weren't going to talk about it.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm glad I did though, because it was fun. I don't know that it was a good film, but it was fun, and parts of it worked really well. I feel like I'm such a downer on so many of the films we've talked about, but I just really can't stand that all the women characters have to have bare stomachs. And they have to have they have to have flat stomachs, they have to be on show in like suggestive but not too suggestive ways, and then we're meant to eat it up as feminism and I'm like, I just don't know. The whole thing to me felt like quite shallow feminism.
Okay.
The story was all about her becoming her own person, but for the first half, most of the dialogue was about the Joker. And then when it wasn't, it was like meant to be impressive that it wasn't. And the soundtrack was meant to be impressive. Like all of the films were like about all of the songs in the film were about being a woman.
Yeah.
And all of the bad guys were men, and all of the good people were women, or clever people were women. I guess they're not good.
Yeah.
And all of I have issues with films where being a female leading character is the niche. Mm-hmm. Just be a leading female character and get on with it. We don't need to be constantly reminded. I think it would do more to progress cinema for women if they just were those characters. Without the soundtrack, the storyline, all the characterizations and the costumes being like, look, did you notice? She's a woman. Look, she's a woman. She's a woman. I'm like, well, yeah, but can we just go on with it?
Yeah.
Do we?
During the film, I was sitting there going, I'm having an okay time.
Yeah.
Enjoying the film.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, I mean, you want to talk about on the nose.
Uh-huh.
Like, every bad guy, every bad character is male, as you say, and every sort of heroine character is a female.
And they get to wear trainers and shirts and jeans.
It's just, and I mean, listen, I think she does an amazing job with the character. Mm-hmm. She has become an iconic character, and now to the point where everybody wants to dress up as her for Halloween.
But only because it's so sexy. It's like being a sexy cat.
But she is.
Like, it's just...
she is sexy, right? She's everybody's like crush.
Totally.
But I also during the film I thought she was like badass and like awesome. She was just kicking everybody's ass, kicking every male's ass, by the way.
Yeah.
And I thought the fight scenes were really good.
Yeah.
And I thought I did like the soundtrack. I thought there was a lot of times I was like nodding along and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought the soundtrack was really good. It looked really good.
Yeah.
And Ewan McGregor is one of my favourite actors.
He was great. He was good.
Well, see, I was going to say, I didn't know what he was doing. I
didn't know what any of them were doing. I was just like along for the ride.
Like, I get he was trying to be a DC character, and I think he can do anything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess if you look at it from big picture, he was a DC character. Like, say, like the Riddler, for example, was this wacky kind of villain. Mm-hmm. But there was no. He was just a bit daft and but for no reason. And then he got angry in his room and he put on a mask.
Yeah.
Why?
I assumed that was a reference that I would get if I liked comics.
Okay,
more.
well, I mean, I don't read the comics either, and I didn't get it.
Okay.
But then I thought he looked cool when he came out and he had the gun and he had the mask on, fine. But why did he only have the mask on at that point of the film?
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. I don't know.
I just can't get over the different it just seemed like it couldn't figure out exactly what it was. Because I get the chaos in storytelling is like the chaos of her mind and it's like jumping around and attention span. But then I'm like, but how bad is she meant to be? Because in the beginning she's like breaking a guy's legs for looking at her funny or telling her to stop.
Yeah.
And then by the end, spoiler alert, she's like suddenly got a conscience and she's feeling bad about stuff.
She wants to help this little girl.
And this guy, the takeaway owner, is like suddenly But
he's also a male, so he's going to turn on her.
Yeah, of course. And then I just found the whole thing like you couldn't figure out how badass she was meant to be.
Okay,
and I think it kept going, alright, we'll have her do really crazy stuff to make her be crazy. But then we'll have to make her likeable, so we'll put in this scene. Or
we better remind you, by the way, that she's a woman and she stands for all these feminism rights. Why? And she said something like, "Reasons you hate me is because I've got a vagina."
Yeah.
And I don't mind lines like that every so often, but it was like 17 of them.
Well, the thing is, I know that a lot of men don't like women. That's fair enough, and I guess that a lot of the men in these comics don't. But I just, I just couldn't get past how much it beat me over the head with the fact that she was a woman, and so I was meant to be on her side.
Meant to like her.
Yeah.
She's meant to be badass.
Yeah, and it was like they were trying to make the bad guy a good guy, the bad girl a good girl.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, but the whole point, I don't know. I would find it way more empowering if it just wasn't such a thing that she's a woman. Like,
it became a big thing. Yeah.
And I know that's like a point they're trying to make, and it's Hollywood, so maybe it's just the landscape they're in where they've got to do it that way.
Yeah.
But like, the Batman films aren't about the fact that he's a man. They're just like, that's a part of the film, and then he has a character that's more developed.
Yeah.
The whole film felt to me about the fact that she was a woman. And
she's trying to do this thing for women by telling you why she's doing it. By the way, I'm doing this, by the way. Like, she kept reminding you.
And it's fine to make a film about being a woman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for that's not what they're pretending the film's about.
Absolutely.
They're pretending it's a comic book story.
There's loads of films about being a woman. There's loads of films being a man.
Yeah.
And
those are legitimate.
Yeah.
But don't pretend it's about a diamond and finding out this and that and the next thing. And like, I feel like it's more condescending than it is.
It is a bit condescending. I felt as if I kind of had an idea what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't know why they were doing it. I don't know why they kept having to remind me. I knew they had to reintroduce characters because we hadn't met them before.
Yeah.
And even when we first met the other Birds of Prey, I thought this could be a lot of potential because they all could be really interesting. Yeah. But then, like the girl with the crossbow,
the
Huntress. I couldn't remember our superhero name. Huntress. I thought she was going to be great.
Yeah.
She was the hood up and she was killing folk and she was all mysterious and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then by the end she was like kind of nerdy and she was like joining up with her and that sort of thing, doing the exact same as the policewoman was doing.
Yeah.
Just because she's not getting treated right at work.
Yeah.
Now she's joining with the one that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I get that it's going to be hard to introduce 4 new characters and Harley Quinn. And it's going to be, you're not going to care about them as much as, say, the Avengers, who have been rooting for 18 films.
Yeah.
But, and I know we shouldn't compare DC and Marvel, I know, but like, for example, Black Widow's coming out in a couple of months, and we already love her because of all those films.
Yeah.
So DC are at a disadvantage because we don't have all that history to love Harley Quinn and to love all the Birds of Prey and stuff like that. So we have to go in and kind of lose our imagination.
Yeah.
And go, right, let's see what you've got, tell me who they are, and then I'll be on board. But the fact they kept reminding you who they were, they kept reminding you why they were doing certain things, right to the end of the film, like the very last scene, they were still sitting around each other, telling each other.
Because remember that one time when this happened.
And then we kicked him in the balls. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, I have no issue with things like that, but it was just like, I was like, why did you keep telling me?
I just think like subtle stuff is more effective, and it makes you go, oh, that's jarring. Oh,
it makes you think about it.
Because she's female and they're all being chauvinist, got it. Rather than like the T-shirt that's like, I shaved my balls for this.
How?
And all of that.
Oh my God.
Like, I understand they're trying to be like punky and cool.
Yeah.
It was too much for me.
I love a coming of age story, whether it's for a female or a male or an animal or anyone. Mm-hmm. And those films are perfect because it's like a beginning, a middle, and end of this progression of whoever you are.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it was all over the place, and it was just like I didn't really see what the point was. And I thought a Harley Quinn film, a character that is really popular, they could have done all these really cool things. I kind of went, as I was going in, I was expecting it to be, it's the Birds of Prey and it's going to be this like feminism thing, but it was just I thought they just got that aspect of it wrong.
Yeah, it felt like a film for like 13-year-old girls for me, who don't feel like, who maybe aren't as like well versed in how awful it can be to be female in a male dominated world. That is fine, because then it's like, here, look, these are the problems and here's these women dealing with them. But the certificate on it was older. And so you're like, and there's a lot of like the face peeling and stuff and the really
some of it's quite violent.
So you're like, who is this for? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like now it's like all superhero films have to be funny now. I mean, listen, even in the Avengers films, the comedy lands so well, but again, they've had this big build up and we know the characters now. And I think the DC films are really guilty of just doing comedy because they feel like they have to do comedy.
I would watch the Huntress film.
Absolutely.
If she gets her own film, I would watch that. That was a good mix, I thought, of like being in a scenario, happening to be female and nailing it, rather than like look at me, I can do what you can do. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, no, that should be a given.
The girl that played Black Canary, Judy Smollett-Bell, she had the kind of the dreadlocks and that sort of thing. Thought she was going to be really good, and then again at the end they all became the same sort of thing.
Yeah, I know.
So she would be an interesting character. I feel like they had such a good opportunity to kind of launch this whole new thing.
Yeah.
With all these separate films.
And to make it something different. Like I feel
work
like
towards something.
with Harley Quinn, because she's been established for ages as Joker's girlfriend, there's a specific look that she needs to have because it's in the comics. There's specific outfits and ways about her. I think these other people are pre-existing characters in the universe, but they could, since they're relatively unknown, you could take them somewhere different.
Mm-hmm.
But again, with this sort of like still eye makeup for some reason, despite the fact she's been training in a cave for however many years.
That's right, yeah.
I guess also stopped at Boots for some like
of course
smouldering eyeshadow. Yeah. And then like zero body hair anywhere, despite the fact they've been in a cave for however long. And like they all look just grungy enough, never seem to shower, but have smooth legs and eyeliner and hair that's just messy enough. And like, it just drives me nuts. Like just one time look like you've actually had a fight.
Exactly.
Without a strategically placed scratch or ripped t-shirt being the only way that we could tell.
Yeah, man.
And with new characters, I feel like they could have moved that in that direction.
Yeah.
And they didn't. But I did enjoy it. I feel like
we're talking as if it's really negative. But listen, it's a good watch, and I mean, I have no rush to watch it again.
No.
But I feel the same about this film as I did about Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. Where at the time I was thinking, yeah, fine, let's watch it. Give me more of this. Mm-hmm. But I've not watched it since.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it got slated, man. And I think that I'm really bad at like getting my opinion swayed and everybody telling me how bad it was. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Whereas I did enjoy it at the time, and I did enjoy this film watching it. Because I think she's good and stuff, and I like the music and the fight scenes. There was parts of it that I thought were really good.
I agree.
But I just think they got some of the more important aspects of it a wee bit wrong.
Yeah.
And
what it was trying to do, I don't think it did.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did enjoy it. But then I did exactly what you did about getting swayed by opinions.
Yeah.
I went online to be like, am I the only one that thinks this is actually almost
anti-feminist?
Weird,
it's a weird mix of opinions online, isn't it?
Yeah, so I went and googled like Birds of Prey feminism ? Just to see if anyone else was seeing what I was seeing, and everyone else was like feminist masterpiece and really smashes the patriarchy, and I was like, maybe I need to just stop.
I don't think so at all.
That's not what I thought.
I didn't see a feminism masterpiece.
I didn't come away being like, great, women are empowered. I'm like, God, Margot Robbie's pretty. She's excellent. Margot Robbie's excellent.
She's excellent, yeah.
All of the actors in it are excellent. I think they do a really good job. The colours, it looks magnificent. The storytelling arc is really interesting.
I thought the wee girl was really good.
Yeah.
Playing a thief at that age.
What did the clothes shop look like in Gotham? Because the wee girl is dressed like a normal person.
And Harley Quinn is dressed in these short shorts.
And all the others are cutting about in like spandex and bodysuits. And also how like compos mentis Harley Quinn is meant to be. Does she understand what's going on? Does she not?
Is she daft? I don't know.
Is she actually really not paying attention, or is she just like? I just don't feel like it's a fully fleshed out character. I think, why is she doing all the things why is she breaking that guy's legs?
Yeah, exactly.
Being nice to the other one, like.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It was but there you go. There's our analysis on Birds of Prey. Let us know what you think, and I think that'll do us because we've been speaking for ages. And
that is nice.
You know, it's funny how it just flies by.
I know.
But thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Well, I keep through, but thank you for coming through.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for coming through the weather and down the street.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can come back soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to promote? Are you good?
No, I'm good, but I feel I've spoken quite enough.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, man. Huge thank you to Madeleine for joining me today for that amazing and lovely chat today. I had such a good time in the studio in Edinburgh chatting about Birds of Prey, whether our feelings of the film were joyous or not. It was certainly worth a watch. It was certainly worth the chat. And Madeleine's such a funny person. She's so lovely. She's got so much funny stories and just interesting stories about her life, getting into acting and studying in America and all that stuff. I always find that stuff really fascinating. So it was a pleasure sitting down with her today to do the Good Bit podcast. So thank you everybody for tuning in today, for downloading or streaming or sharing the episode, whatever you have done to support us today. And of course, remember, you can follow us on social media. Twitter and Instagram are both at The Good Bit Pod. We also have a Facebook page, which I believe is also facebook.com/The Good Bit Pod. Also on YouTube, you can just search The Good Bit Podcast on YouTube and find all of the stuff on there. But if you're looking for the channel, it is CM42TV. And of course, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/CM42TV. Thanks so much again for downloading. And all of your support is very, very appreciated, a great deal. And we love each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everybody's doing well. And until next time here on the Good Bit Podcast, that has been episode number 61. And you better recognize...